What's up, guys? Imran here from the Stuff They Should Have Taught Us podcast. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking to you guys about retirement and more specifically, how to figure out how much you actually need to retire. So, I understand a lot of my audience happens to be people under the age of 25. But in any case, it's never too early to start thinking about retirement. A lot of people only begin to think about retirement when it's pretty much too late, maybe only 10 to 15 years before they're looking to retire, and they find themselves in a very sticky situation where they won't be able to save enough to retire. So if you're listening to this episode and you're someone who's young, consider yourself at an advantage because by beginning to think about retirement at such a young age, you're going to be able to take advantage of compound interest, something I talked about in a previous episode. So, if you remember from a previous episode where we talked about calculating how much you need for an emergency fund, calculating how much you need for retirement is actually a lot similar. The first thing you want to do is find out how much you might spend per month in retirement, multiply that by 12, so how much you might spend in a year. Say perhaps you come up with the number $36,000. And from there, multiply that number by 25. Now, it could seem like a lot of money, and it is. For most people, how much you need to retire will be over $1 million. But don't worry too much about that. How we get there is going to be using the power of compound interest. So if you're someone who's young, you're going to be able to take advantage of this a lot. But anyway, back to where we got that number, there is something called a safe withdrawal rate, which is a percentage that you can take out every single year from your investments that doesn't affect the actual principal. So essentially, if you take about 4% out of your retirement savings fund every single year, you will never dip into your initial principal. So if you have $1 million in every year, you should be able to take $40,000 out. And that's based on the historical returns of the US economy. 3% is a pretty safe rate. Some people calculate with a lower safe withdrawal rate. The lower the rate, the better, and the more safe it is for you. So now that you have a target amount of money that you want to try to save for retirement, the next thing you're going to want to do is come up with a plan to reach that amount. So I'm going to go more in depth on this in a couple later episodes because retirement is such a huge topic. But always the first step is to max out your 401k that's sponsored by work and to start a Roth IRA. I'm going to go much more in depth on these two. For now, I'm just going to leave you guys with this. So the exercise for this episode is to calculate how much you think you'll need to retire based on how much you spend every month right now. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this very brief introduction into retirement and how to calculate how much you're actually going to need. If you like this podcast, be sure to share it with your friends. Also, we do have a merch shop now, and the link for that is going to be in the description. We've got hoodies, long sleeve t-shirts, and my favorite, the coffee mug. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one.